Happy New Year!
Yeah, 2025. Let's get after it.
Yeah, here we are. We're back from our holiday break, refreshed. Maybe some of us got the vid.
Maybe or maybe not. Got me a little Rona action.
Yeah.
Dude, I cannot believe. Like I was just telling someone today, man. I feel really guilty because I was the quintessential super spreader. Like both times, because Tuesday night, Jen and I went out to like New Year's Eve dinner.
Oh
Went out
no!
went to a wine bar. Like we were around a ton of people Tuesday night. Wednesday night, I was around you, Ronnie, Chaz, Pete, and then like a bunch of Chaz's friends,
Yeah.
and like I just had I knew I had like a cold. I thought I had a head cold. I knew I was a little under the weather, but dude, when I tested Thursday morning and that thing lit up like a Christmas tree, I felt so bad. I'm like, oh my God.
Was it like just instant? Like,
Dude, so I was sitting on the bed. Jen did like the nose thing. She walked 10 feet into our bathroom. That's where we had like the little thing. Walked 10 feet into the bathroom, dropped the stuff on there. I shit you not, she didn't even make it back out of the bathroom yet. It was like, it's positive. Like it was that fast. Like it was as soon as like the fluid,
Yeah.
As soon as the fluid stuff basically touched, it was like poof, red line. And it was like bright red. Like the viral load was strong in this one. It was crazy.
That's what happened to me back in June when I got it. It was as soon as I put the drops in, it was just instant. Like bam. But no, I knock on wood, it's been what 6-7 days now.
It's been a week. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I don't even want to say it, but I have tested negative last couple days, and
oh man, horrible.
Don't really have the symptoms, so
yeah.
But yeah, I am still in Ohio, and that's why I'm not in the home studio, but yeah. So let's run through some announcements here. It's beginning of the year. We got a little maintenance to do. New year, new us. New year,
new format. Who dis?
So we're going to try a little different format. I mean, a lot will be the same, but we're going to do race results first, like we usually do. And then we're going to have a segment for FKTs. And then we're going to do the news segment. And then we're also adding in the triple T, the 3 T's, trips, tricks, and thought. Tips,
tricks, and thoughts. And so that spawned the triple T aspect of the show spawned from a suggestion. We asked for some feedback. We said, hey, what would make the show more enjoyable for you? We did have a listener like, you know what? Love the show. Love hearing the stuff you guys talk about. But this person's a newer runner, was like, listen, I get it. You guys have been there, done that. You're probably talked to a bunch of people who have been there, done that. But for noobs like me, I would love to hear X, Y, and Z. And I'm like, yeah, I can get down with that. That makes sense. So we're not going to do a ton of time on it. We're not going to be pretentious about it. We're going to give like our gut thoughts and our gut feelings about it.
Yeah, I think it'll just be related to our personal experiences and what works for us or what maybe we've seen work for other people. We're not experts. We're not coaches. We're not, but
not medical advice.
No, definitely. It's the complete opposite of medical advice.
Matter of fact, let's just establish the baseline now. If we tell you to do something medically, probably do the opposite. I'm a medical advisor.
Right. So, but it should be fun anyway.
Yeah.
Generate some good discussion. Second announcement. First, we just want to, send our thoughts to LA right now. These fires are going on, Palisades, the Palisades fire, and there's like 4 or 5 other fires in addition to that, and those winds are 100 miles per hour. They're blowing these fires all over. Neighborhoods have been completely destroyed. They were bulldozing cars that were abandoned just for the fire trucks to come through. Sean O'Brien, that course is it's probably gone, and that race is supposed to be on January 25th. That's probably not going to happen, I'm guessing. Just thoughts go out to everybody affected by those fires. It's probably about 3 hours south of where I live in California. But it's it was just bound to happen. It was a matter of when, not if, that a large urban area would be affected. And LA is kind of ripe for the taking, because there's those areas of like mountains and a bunch of fuel, brush growing, and that combined with they've only had 0.16 inches of rain since May. So it's super dry, and then you get these winds. Just a horrible situation. Just hope for the best for everybody out there.
And then, like you said, I mean, first and foremost, right? Like the people who live out there, and like that's obviously most important. Like you had said, the race is supposed to be January 20th, 21st, 25th. You and I were talking about this before. Like that race, I don't know if that race has had consecutive years of not having an issue in probably a decade plus.
Yeah,
like it is just it's unbelievable how unfortunate they've been.
Yeah, they've had to go through a lot, but that race has been going on for a long time.
Yeah,
I think it was even under a different name before it was Sean O'Brien. So, but the race is kind of secondary to everything else. But this is an ultra running news podcast, so that's why we're talking about it. All right, and last announcement: everybody that is wanting to run Forget the PR, which is it's my favorite 50K in the ever, and one of Johnny's favorite. We've been both have been a part of this race for many years, and it's in the Mohican State Forest in April, and we just wanted to pass along that the registration for Forget the PR 50K is on January 15th at 7 p.m. Eastern.
Yeah.
So mark your calendars if you're interested in running Forget the PR.
Set an alarm. I don't know. There for a long time, that race used to sell out. Like it would drop on New Year's Eve. Like I was here, I think it really used to get people fired up. That thing would drop on New Year's Eve. So you had people all kinds of to the wind, like registering for that race. You know what I mean? And it would be done. It would be it filled up.
Yeah.
I know I shared a post on our Facebook page about this race. I will go. I will maintain this. I will say if you live in the Midwest, right, that is a great one to come out and do. If you have time, if you have space open for a 50K this year, sign up for it, hit it up. If you do not live in the Midwest, you're like, you know what? I would love, let's do something a little spontaneous. Let's do a little something crazy. Fly into Columbus. It's an easy airport to fly into. It's a 2-hour drive up to Mohican from there. If that, it's not even that. What am I saying? It's probably like an hour and a half.
Yeah.
It's an hour and a half drive up to Mohican. All kinds of resorts, campgrounds, stay up there. I will tell you, it'll be one of the best races you've ever ran. It'll be one of the best set of RDs you've ever ran. There's free beer at the end of it. There's free food at the end of it. It is, honest to God, one of the best races in Ohio, in the U.S. Like I want to go as far as to say it needs to be more people's destination 50K race for the spring.
I couldn't agree more. The aid stations are top notch, and great people. The people that put it on are top notch. Mark and Chad, and not only that, they donate the proceeds to Special Olympics. And yeah, like Johnny said, this race, forever has been super popular. I don't know, it's been going on for maybe 11, 12 years now.
If not more, yeah.
Oh, yeah, probably more. Yeah. So anyway, yeah.
Last plug of it real fast. If you run it, you get to see me at the end with beer.
Yeah.
And you get to see Chaz Adams, who we've had on the show twice now, I think. You get to see him at the aid station, at the most crucial aid station. Anyway, must sign up race. Like, I highly encourage it.
And it's a nice course. It's got maybe 5,000 feet of climbing. It's challenging, just challenging enough. Generous cutoff. Is it still 10 hours?
Yeah. It's funny that you say it's funny that you say the elevation. Because I was actually just looking at something else. I was being kind of nerdy. There's a race out west I was looking at, and I'm like, wonder how that stacks up against Forget the PR. And so now, like, it is actually, yeah, you're correct. So I actually got a couple of different numbers. I got a number on it where it's like 6,400 feet. So it does have some solid, not bad for a little 50K.
No, it's a great course. Yeah, it's always fun. Yeah. It's a family type atmosphere, but everybody's welcome. Everybody will be treated like family. So highly recommend. And if you're there, you got to hit up Trails End Pizza if you're not familiar with the area.
Yeah,
All
solid.
Right. All right. Well, one of our goals this year is to kind of try to get the show to be around 55 minutes to an hour. But because of the announcements today, I don't think we can do it within an hour. But
I like the challenge. Yeah, we're only at 12:30 in right now. We're doing great. We're killing it, Jamie.
Yeah. All right. So we're going to jump into the race results. There's not too many races that happen over the holidays. I mean, there are, but not as many as normal. So we're just going to hit a couple of the ones that are in states or that we know that people have vested interest, or states where we live. So Woodside, California is the Woodside Ramble. They have, I believe they have a summer one too, but the winter edition took place December 21st. Now, the Woodside Ramble is in a cool area. It's in Woodside, California, so it's down the peninsula, right? It's south of San Francisco. The areas that you run through have redwood trees. They're not like there is some big ones. They're not like the extremely huge ones, but they're still plentiful. It's forest, like, a lot of forest that you're running through. There's redwood preserves out there. It's just really scenic, nice trails. I highly recommend running a race in Woodside if you're in California. So this year there was 75 finishers in the 50K, and Adam Roeder was first in 4 hours 23. Marco Santabanes second, 4:43. Jonah Porth, 4:44, was third. First place female was an anonymous runner. That's her name, anonymous runner. 4 hours and 52 minutes. And second place was Lauren Matthew, 5 hours 19, and third was Heather Lutz, 5:31. So that was the Woodside Ramble.
We've seen the anonymous runner on other races too, like that. You've definitely seen. Well, yeah.
It may or may not have been the same person.
Yeah, we'll never know.
Yeah. That's pretty interesting, though. I wonder if it's like an elite runner that didn't want their.
Yeah, just wants to lay low.
Yeah, who knows? Okay, next up is, and I think we talked about this race last year, but it's worth mentioning again. The Charleston 100. So this is in Charleston, South Carolina. Took place December 27th. Now, this is a self-supported urban ultra. And I kind of, I'm not big on road running, but I kind of like stuff like this because it's different than the normal, normal 100-mile trail race. It has an adventure in its own way, I guess. That's why I've always been kind of interested in the New York one, where it starts in Midtown Manhattan and then it goes like through the 5 boroughs, and it's a 100-miler. Like, that's probably the only paved 100-miler I would do, maybe.
Oh, that's what you say now.
Yeah, I don't know. I really like the thought of LA Hots, but or last annual. Anyway, so Charlotte, costume chick, she has actually completed this race every year they've had it. I think she's the only one that's completed it every year, and that's 7 years that they've done it.
Yeah.
She dressed up like a pineapple, it looked like from the pictures. Really cool buckle, by the way. Didn't you mention something about this race being a USATF?
So it is fun, yeah, because like you were just saying, right? It says it's a unsupported, unsanctioned race, right? But then when you go to the website, on the website, it very prominently has displayed it's a sanctioned USATF event. So somehow, some way, they are unsanctioned, but also sanctioned. I'm guessing that's also a very, I don't know if that's some weird way of like getting out of like fees, permits or what, but but it is kind of interesting. It would be a cool race to run also just because it's through, I think Charleston itself.
Oh, yeah.
It would be an interesting city. I would assume that if you're still in the city of Charleston, probably really any point. I mean, that's such a hub for bachelorette parties for sure. Some of the it's got to be entertaining. It does seem like an interesting race for sure.
Yeah, I got engaged in Charleston actually. Yep, and it's a fun city. I've went to a concert there. It would be interesting to see the late night life. If from a runner's perspective, right? From the
I mean, it goes. So it does have its map on the website, and I mean it goes right. It goes right along the shore. I mean, it is, and it's an out and back.
It is an out and back.
Yeah. So I mean,
and you have to do 4 laps on the track when you get back.
Yeah.
Oh man.
We need that last mile. Go and give it up.
Yeah. So pretty cool. And this year there was 40 finishers. Anthony Brungard was first in 14 hours and 55 minutes, which that's pretty impressive because you have to deal with traffic, intersections, all that stuff. And it's self-supported, right? So you're probably going in gas stations and all that. Man, I hope there's some 24-hour gas or 7-Elevens or something that, at night.
Or you gotta have a crew, right? Like and for this race, when they say self-support, like you can just have crew dropping stuff off. And the other thing that's wild is I'm looking at some of the photos from it. Dude, there's stretches of this race that goes down the side of a 4-lane highway.
Oh my God.
Yeah, dude. Like this race.
Well, we are gonna have Charlotte on later this winter after she achieves a awesome feat, which we won't disclose yet. But we'll have to ask her about this. Charlotte, if you're listening, please remind us to ask you about this. Michael Davis got second, 20 hours and 13 minutes. So quite a while after Anthony finished. Brad Reed, 20 hours 47 for third. And first place for the women was Christy Balla, 22 hours 48. Second place, Amanda Schuster, 23:40. Third place, Carrie Dulina, 24:58. So that's Charleston 100.
Yeah, pretty interesting race.
Yeah, definitely. Next up is the Yankee Springs, and this is in Michigan. And they have a summer race too, and I believe this one's been going on since 2014, so 10 years now. And this can be a very cold race at times. It can be, it's the lower peninsula of Michigan, but it's out there where I'm sure you could still get some of the lake effect snow or crazy conditions. But 43 people finished the 50K this year, and Elaine Sheik won outright, beat all the other women and all the dudes. 4 hours and 44 minutes. Congrats, Elaine. Nice job. And Matthew Mackey was first for the men in 5 hours and 8 minutes. Alex Doberens for the men in second, 5:10. Joseph Morin, 5:22 for third. And second place female, Erica Kuno, 5 hours 47. And Sean Halloran, third for the women, 6 hours and 7 minutes. There was a 50-miler as well, which saw 18 finishers. James Klockner, 7:10. Brian Goodwin, 7:24. Matthew Heyman, 8:37. That was the podium for the men. Iris Lenoir, 9 hours and 39. Victoria Brown, 11:09. And Danielle Dupius, 11:21 for the podium for the women. That was Yankee Springs, which is in Middleville, Michigan.
Two things that make this race great, by the way. You know what they are?
No, go ahead.
Chili cook-off at the end.
Oh, yes.
They have a chili cook-off at the end. I am the most quintessential Midwesterner in the fact that I love me some chili. I'll crush some chili. So one, that's pretty cool, right? Chili cook-off at the end. Two, you know what your finisher's award is for this race? A snow globe. That is awesome.
That's very fitting. And it's very unique. Like there not too many races I've done that it's been a super unique finishing award. Mm-hmm. But one that comes to mind is playing possum when you get the horseshoe.
Horseshoes, yeah.
Yeah, that was cool. But yeah, so a snow globe, like that's pretty unique. That's pretty cool. Yankee Springs, good classic Midwest race.
Yeah.
Next up is a pretty big deal. We want to talk about across the years. Now, there's been some form or iteration of across the years that has been going on since 1983. At some point, Aravaipa took it over, and this is in Peoria, Arizona. It's a 1 mile loop, and it's flat, and they have a billion different events. They have the backyard event, they have the 12-hour, the 6-hour, the 100-mile, 144-hour, 72-hour, 48-hour, 24-hour, 200-mile, 100K. That's what they have right now. So really, we just want to talk about the 24-hour, which is one of their feature main events. And we want to give a huge shout out and congratulations to friend of the pod, guest of the pod, Cole Crosby. Congrats, Cole. He took first place overall in the 24-hour. And not only did he take first place, what else did he do?
Well, I mean, he set a course record for the 24-hour.
Bam.
And like I think like here's the part. It's so funny, right? Like, first off, it's mind bending. He set a course record, and like the course record he set was by in my opinion, a fairly substantial amount, right? Like,
yeah.
I mean, the previous course record. By the way, like I didn't even think about. I looked at the distance. I didn't look at the year. The previous course record is from 2002.
Wow.
Cole took down a course record that has stood for 22 years.
Wow.
So
that's awesome.
And he did it by 7 miles. So yep. I mean, like pretty solid distance. So I mean, for me, there's a lot of things that was just really impressive about this run this year for Cole. I mean, like the distance is flat out. The fact that it's a course record that stood for 22 years. And then I hate to say this, but the person that like the amount of distance between him and second place is impressive. Last but not least, who took second is impressive to me that he beat them by that much. I get just it is what that's how I feel.
So Cole laid down an impressive 152.134 miles in 24 hours, which is just bonkers.
Ridiculous.
And in second place for the men was String Bean Joe McConaughey, who is very well known in the ultra running community. He's
kind of good.
Yeah.
Kind of good.
Yeah. He's kind of set, records on, or he had the FKT for a minute on the Arizona Trail. He's won Cocodona 250. I'm pretty sure he did. Very accomplished, very well known in the community. Oh, he had the record on the Appalachian Trail for a while. Like, very solid runner. He got second in 131.004 miles. So Cole beat him by 21 miles. Pretty impressive. Thomas Bayer was third, 126.778 miles. And then for the women, Janelle Stark first, 122.552. Adriana Schimmel, 101.423 miles was second, and Julie Sherwood third, 101.423 miles. Ed Eddinghaus was in there. That's the jester, and we're going to talk about him in a little bit in the news section, but he did 100 miles at that event. This is a very popular event, by the way. It would be a fun one to go and just hang out and do one of the events. Do the backyard or something like that. Just a lot of people there. Fun way to celebrate the new year, perhaps, other than getting COVID and hanging out. But
you got to watch the Buckeyes destroy Oregon, though.
Man, that was the coolest.
That was super cool.
Yeah, it was great to get to watch the game with all you guys too.
Yeah.
All right. Let's move on to FKTs.
FKTs, yeah.
And Uwharrie Trail, right? Uwharrie is a pretty well-known. There's a pretty well-known race on the Uwharrie. Is that 100 mile? I can't remember off the top of my head, but there's a well-known race there. But the Uwharrie Trail in North Carolina also has an FKT set up, and let's see, it's 37.7 miles with 6,000 feet of gain. It's a point-to-point. This is a northern portion of the Uwharrie Trail. Or is it the whole Uwharrie Trail? Might be the whole Uwharrie
The whole
Trail.
one?
So Allison Powell just set the unsupported FKT by a large margin. It was 11 hours and 47 minutes, and she did it in 8 hours and 29 minutes. Super impressive. And also, let's see. Not only did she set the FKT, but the cool thing about the FKT website is that they usually do a write-up. And her write-up was pretty interesting. Said it was a beautiful day on a beautiful trail. The leaves were dry but plentiful, hiding rocks and roots, only fell once. More water available than expected. She started with 3.5 liters, which is, that's a lot of weight in water, man. I've carried 3 liters before, and it's like so much. She only needed to fill once. She spent, or someone could probably do with less this time of year, but would trade off time saved and weight to time spent refilling water. Yeah, so she started a little after 6 a.m., almost got lost immediately, a few hundred yards from the trailhead in a campsite. She got back on track quickly. The trail's well marked with white blazes or white diamonds. There's mileage markers starting around mile 25. And yeah, she'd hoped to bring the women's time to single-digit hours and thought she would be closer to 9.5. So she was pretty happy to be under 8.5. Finished 2:40 in the afternoon, crossing the road to stop her watch and take a picture. The route actually ends in the parking lot, meaning she didn't need to cross the busy highway to take the picture. But yeah, it showcases the beauty of North Carolina and the bones of old mountains. So pretty cool. Here's some pictures.
I'm going to deduct half a point from her for uploading her pictures all sideways.
Yeah.
Let's go. Let's go, Allison.
Not cool. Use the rotate function.
Yeah, it's not that. Let's go.
But other than that, congrats.
You're too young. You're too young not to know how to rotate photos before you upload them.
All right. So there was some other FKTs set fairly recently that are probably pretty well known. Let me just go over some of the maybe the ones that people might have heard of. And Ice Age Trail, Alex Gold did 3 hours and 53 minutes on the Ice Age Trail. That's 32 miles, about 33 miles of the Ice Age Trail in Wisconsin. And he did it supported in 3 hours and 53. So pretty impressive. Let's see. What else do we have here that I was going to talk about? Oh, the New Jersey portion of the Appalachian Trail set by Emily Walker and Kaylee Janilis. 18 hours and 22 minutes. That's 72 miles, 8,000 feet of gain. So that's pretty solid. And that was female supported FKT, which crushed the last one, which was 26 hours and 30 minutes. So pretty impressive there. And let's see, another recent would be, this one was kind of cool. Mike Wardian, looks like he created his own FKT.
That's awesome.
The Civil War Defenses of Washington. This is in Washington, D.C., on a forested hill surrounding the nation's capital, remnants of a complex system of Civil War fortifications. These strategic buttresses transformed the young capital into one of the world's most fortified cities by 1865. 68 forts and 93 batteries armed with over 800 cannons encircled Washington, D.C. Today, you can visit 19 of the original sites, now managed by the National Park Service. This is an open course route where you have to visit these 19 fortifications in any order you prefer. The shown GPX is the suggested route by Mike Wardian, but you can choose another order if you'd like. Please note that when planning your route, you have to ensure your own safety if the route includes roads with heavy traffic. So they list out the fortifications that you have to visit on the FKT website. And Mike did this route in 6 hours and 36 minutes, which is 35.69 miles and 22.57 vertical gain. So,
all right. So it's funny. We're scrolling this real fast tonight. In an effort to keep on pace here, I just want to point something out that I think is kind of funny. Look at the Prospect Park one. There is an FKT for loops at Prospect Park.
In Brooklyn.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
3.3 miles?
Yeah, I think.
That's the distance.
Yeah, but I think 3.3 is 3.3 just one loop, or is 3. Because like if you go down, here's what's kind of funny.
What's IN?
And it's because it's saying I think it's saying 3 loops in 1
hour. Number of loops per day.
Yeah, it's like, and listen, I'm just saying, if we have any listeners close to Prospect Park,
yeah,
that's an attainable FKT.
Well, yeah, you can, because you can do you can set a new one. You can do 20 loops or 10 loops.
I mean, listen, if you want to be an asshole to John Clark here, you can go down and you can take his 3 in 97 minutes and 44 seconds. I mean, that's
10 miles.
9.9. Yeah, 9.9 miles in 97 minutes.
Yeah.
Like, come on, that's just begging to get poached early. I mean, I'm not trying to poo-poo the guy, but like, I got a brother-in-law who lives right down the road from that, and he'll go over there and take that thing tomorrow morning.
Since 2020, Prospect Park Track Club has held a 50-mile race comprising of 15 full counterclockwise loops. So this route is a number of loops in a day type challenge, similar to those of Central Park, which we actually did go over in one of our other episodes, the Central Park FKT that somebody had set last year. It will fill a noticeably lack of FKT routes within the city. The loop structure is conductive to self-supported or even unsupported attempts beyond race day. Though by no means a stunning mountain vista, the loop is a respite from city streets for thousands of local runners who experience it in all weathers and seasons. 3.3 miles with little elevation. Make as many rounds in a day during opening hours. Oh, yeah, that's the Central Park thing, too. You have to do it within 6 a.m. to 1 a.m., so as many as possible.
Dude, could you imagine the crazy shit that you see in Prospect Park after dark until 1 in the morning? Bro. Bro. That would be off the hook.
That'd be fun.
Listen, I want to go to Prospect Park and I want to go and do from 6 a.m. to 1 a.m. I just want to just and I'll take it a step further. Our two options are what? It's an unsupported. So unsupported just means that I can take all my stuff and I can take as much stuff as I want and just dump it, right?
I don't know about that, actually. I think you have to carry everything with you.
All right, so I don't know how much water I could carry, but still, like, that'd be a fun one to go to. Like,
you know what though? If there's a public water source,
and it's Brooklyn, New York, of course there is.
Well, it can't be like you can't like purchase it at a gas station or anything.
No. They have water fountains. You have water fountains, and this park actually has a ton of bathrooms.
Okay, did you say unsupported?
No, they have a yes, they have a supported and unsupported.
Okay, so unsupported means you truly have no external support of any kind. You must carry everything you need from start to finish, except water from natural sources.
Ooh, natural sources.
Well, listen, public taps along the trail are fine, but no water from any commercial source, even if free.
Okay.
So it's got to be a public tap.
Yeah, but anyway, like, I mean, in like Prospect is like there is Prospect Park. There's like it depends if you go which way you go, but there's essentially one hill. Like there's one like gradual douchey kind of climb hill, if you will. That rhymed. But dude, that'd be kind of fun to do.
It would be. I mean, and you could definitely do it because it's newer. You know,
Oh, dude.
You just got to submit it.
Yeah.
So public restrooms are not considered support. So you could use public restrooms, but you're not allowed to use it for shelter. So like if there was a rainstorm, you couldn't like hide out in the bathroom. No, using it as extended sheltering is considered support. Charging digital devices or headlamps at public power sockets is acceptable for unsupported attempts. To be unsupported, all equipment and gear must be carried from start to finish. Wrappers, trash, not gear and clothing, may be properly discarded along the way. One may drop gear, such as a pack, while summiting a peak if one returns to it and brings it back to the finish on the same trip. So I guess you could stash gear. Bike or kayak can be unsupported if the above conditions is met. Such an out and back where a bike is ridden from the start, left temporarily, and ridden back to the finish. Okay. Other gear is cached in okay, never mind. All right, so yeah, we have it a little bit. All right.
We have a plan. Jamie and I are going for the FKT.
Yeah, we just got to get to Manhattan get to New York City for the weekend. Okay. I don't know if there was Tunnel Hill State Trail, 8 hours and 37 minutes, and that was that's 47 miles with 600 feet of climb. The Tunnel Hill, that's where the Tunnel Hill race takes place, and this was just set by Travis Redden, 8 hours and 37 minutes for 47 miles. Let's see. I don't know if there's any other ones I wanted to talk about. No, I think that's probably about it for well-known recent trails. Mm-hmm. There's Mulholland Drive. Anyways, if anybody wants to check these out, it's right on the FKT website. I think it's right on their main page. You just scroll all the way down, and it's the latest FKTs. It's so cool because you can really like click on the FKTs, and see all about it and see who set other ones for that. You can click on the person's name to see what they've done. You can click on their particular the time of their and it goes to their particular FKT recording. So pretty cool. All right. We also have speaking of FKTs, we have FKTs of the year are in, and the winners are Kilian Jornet when he did that crazy run in the Alps. He did 82 4,000 meter peaks in the Alps, which was a massive undertaking, and he linked all 82 of them in a human-powered traverse, and he did this all in 19 days and 16 hours. I think there's a video out about that actually that I'd like to watch, but that's just insane.
Yeah.
And we did talk about that on one of the other episodes too. And the female FKT of the year, very well deserved, is Tara Dower's Appalachian Trail FKT. First person ever to go under, was it 41 days, I believe? Yeah, 40 days, 18 hours. She took 13 hours off of Carl Saab's 2018 record. So yeah, congrats to Kilian and Tara. Second place was Heather Anderson, Arizona Trail, and Will Peterson for the Long Trail, which I think the Long Trail is in Vermont. Georgia Porter, third, Arizona Trail. Kyle Curtin for the Colorado Trail. We saw a lot of FKTs on that last year. They got third. Sophie Power was fourth for a run across Ireland. We talked about that. Nick Fowler did also set an FKT on Arizona Trail. He was fourth. And in fifth, Ida Sophie Hedgeman for Dollarama and there was several people here, right? It was a group. Ida Sophie Hedgeman, Dollarama, and Andrea Sanson and Andrew Hamilton did the Colorado 14ers as a group. And Anton Krupicka for the LA Freeway route, which is in Colorado. It's not in the city of LA, which we talked about all those on our previous episodes. So go back and listen if you would like. Okay. That was FKTs of the year. Let's go to some news. And we're going to start off with the winners of Keeping Trail Running Weird Awards from Ultra Sign Up. And best dressed, we had Tony Mendez. He's a guy that wears the crop top no matter what the weather is. He was up against some pretty tough competition. There was, there was a Waldo. There was Costume Chick's friend that changes changes costumes during the race. But looks like Tony won out for his crop top. Best pacer, Scott Perry. He's the one that always shows up for the community. Sounds like he's just always there to be a pacer for other runners. He's a masochist when he runs, but when he's your pacer, he channels relief into your soul. Best race day fail.
I mean, this is like so obvious. What's funny is when I saw this on the show notes, I immediately went to this, scroll down just to see. I wanted to make sure that she won.
Yep. Heather Westberg, mile 14 of the Pinhoti 100. The trail, the narrow trail gave way, sending her down the mountain and breaking 2 bones in her leg. They had to carry her off the mountain in a body bag. That's not really a body bag. What kind of?
I mean, it really looks like a body bag.
Yeah, it does. And it looks like there's like detectives like carrying it out, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does. Yeah, it does.
They're all wearing like black polos and khaki and jeans and khakis. So she had no ID or credit card, so the crew had to help get her treatment and meds.
God.
Spent the next 24 hours on crutches, but crewing 4 others in the race instead of resting. That's the true spirit of ultra running right there.
Yeah.
Congrats, Heather. Favorite trail weirdo, Dwight Swaney. Injury prone, incredibly. Forgets shoes and runs at a pace on pavement, or runs a race on pavement barefoot, yes. Brings the most stoke and positivity to every event and activity he does, yes, absolutely, always. Regularly gets lost during group events and ends up hanging out on strangers' porches, check. And yeah, he's as close to a human cartoon character in the best way that this person has witnessed, and the world is richer for it. Most inspirational, Leigh Kate Vincent is the winner. A mom of 4 in her mid-40s, volunteer in the church and community, business owner, still finds time to travel and run, always training, competing, just loves life, loves to move. No matter what the obstacle, she continues to push herself and inspire others. Just sounds like somebody that's really driven and inspirational. So, all right. And the data winners, most races completed, Ed Eddinghaus. That's the Jester.
There it is. Yeah.
And we're going to talk about him in a minute because his data is has led him to a record that we'll discuss. But for this award, he did 43 races on Ultra Sign Up this year. Most races completed. Most hours raced. Oh, and just because he did 43 on Ultra Sign Up doesn't even mean that he only did 43.
Yeah.
Which we'll talk about in a minute. Most hours raced. Deepak Bhattacharya, and sometimes it's not about getting to the finish line first. This award celebrates the runner who spends the most time out on race courses in 2024. He had a bib pinned on for a total of 718 hours of racing.
Yeah.
Like, wow. Well, I got to do the calculation here. What'd I say, 718?
718, I think so. Yeah.
That's almost 30 days. Most miles raced at Eddinghaus, 4,788.
Golly days.
I've never even come close to running that many miles with like training and racing in 1 year.
No.
Not even half that, actually. Rookie of the Year, Evan Matusevich. Posted first race in Ultra Sign Up on 2024. Went on to complete the most races of all new runners, 15.
Jeez, got the bug hard.
Yeah. Yeah. Richard Tenaglia was the world traveler. This is the runner who has explored the most places in 2024, from mountains to deserts. He conquered 23 races in 23 states this year.
Dang.
And the grand prize winner, Bethany Andreas, was randomly selected from anyone that nominated a candidate or voted, and she got a $500 gift card to Running Warehouse and $500 worth of Ultra Sign Up race credits.
Ooh.
Dang. We need to start nominating people.
Yeah. Dude, hold on. Like there's
even if you voted, you're in that lot, that grand prize.
Where does Richard? All right. The Richard Tenaglia one is really like kind of like spinning my mind. 23 states.
You must live in a camper van
in 1 year. And so, like, my question is, where does he live that it was that like easy for him to kind of?
Yeah.
Well, I guess we could go in and look at his races he completed.
Yep. You can actually see
where. Oh, dude, Northeast. He's up in the Northeast, which I guess. But dude, so this guy.
Okay, that makes it harder because you.
No, the Northeast, because you can hit a bunch of states really easy.
Yeah, but still, 23 is half the country, though. You're not like in the middle.
And so that's actually what I'm kind of realizing now. Is
maybe up and down the East Coast.
He did. So let's see here. 24. Okay, January 24th. So Delaware, Texas, Nevada, Arizona, Georgia, New Mexico, Maryland, Maine, Vermont, California, Wyoming, Washington.
Wow, a lot out west.
Alaska, South Dakota, Nebraska, Oregon, all the way back across to Connecticut, New Hampshire, and then Wisconsin.
This guy's got to be living in a camper van.
Or does he have a job in like medical sale, is he sales of some kind?
Yeah.
And he has national accounts.
And you just parlay it into the weekend.
Dude, he's like, well, I gotta be there. I might as well make a long weekend out of it.
Right.
Dude, what in the world? That is wild.
That's a good point. That is crazy. All right. So that was Ultra Sign Up's keeping trail running weird awards. Another exciting year for that. Their next news story: a 55-year-old I believe in Belgium, or she's from Belgium. I'm not sure where she did this, but she ran a marathon every day in 2024. So that's 366 total that she did. It was a leap year to set a Guinness World Record. She has completed the Spartathlon in Greece, and she didn't feel the need to specifically train for the year-long goal. Pretty impressive.
That is
first woman to run a marathon every single day of the year.
Hold on. 26.2 miles times 366. Dude. 9,589. 9,589 miles.
God. That's so many miles. Wow.
Is that right? I'm going to do that math again. 26.2 times, 366. Dude, that thing bonkers. All right. We're doing good.
She was on an interview on All Things Considered. You can go and check that out. She raised 65,000 euros for breast cancer research.
Nice.
So pretty awesome. All right. Next up, new record. Okay, so now we're going to talk about the jester, Ed Eddinghaus. Not only did he win those Ultra Sign Up awards, but they didn't even talk about the craziest thing that Ed did.
Yeah.
Ed, who is 62 years old, by the way, in 2024 broke the record for most 100-mile finishes in a calendar year. He finished his 52nd race of 100 miles or more at across the years. So across the years, his 100 miles in the 24-hour was his 52nd 100-miler that he did. The previous record was set by Walter Handloser in 2019, and he had 50. And Ed previously set a record of 41 100-mile finishes in 2014. So, so he did basically 100-miler a week for the whole year.
Golly days. That hurts just thinking about it.
And if that wasn't enough, he has now finished a world's best 290 100-mile races or longer. He's accomplished this in less than 15 years. In those, he has run 124 sub-24-hour 100s. His work is not finished. He hopes to finish 58 100-milers in a 12-month period that began last year in mid-February. So he's going to run six more before mid-February. Crazy.
That's nuts.
And I do want our listeners to know that Josh, who we had on the show last year, who ran his first 50-miler, a blind runner, and who just absolutely crushed his first 50-miler at Tunnel Hill, has a article in Ultra Running Magazine on their website. You can go check it out. It's called Tunnel Hill, My First 50-Miler. And Josh does a great job with his write-up. It's a fun read, and highly recommend it. But yeah, it was super cool to come across that. That's Josh Sisson. And finally, John Kelly. The Winter Spine Race is starting on January 12th. So, well, in England, it's January 12th. So in a couple of days. And John Kelly is running it this year. He's no stranger to the Pennine Way over there in England. And he actually either has the FKT on that route or had it. And also he's done the Winter Spine Race before, but he hasn't had like a proper winter. He's had mud and stuff like that. So he's hoping for snow. Last year he was going to run it and he had a sprained ankle and he got sick, and and he got sick with the flu, so and he got food poisoning, so he couldn't run last year. But it'll be interesting to follow along with that spine race. It's 268 miles, I think, on the Pennine Way that goes through England, and it's pretty cool. I think it's largely crew supported. I think you have to carry all your supplies. Okay, well, that brings us to the triple T's.
The triple T's. So starting off the triple T, and one of the things that I feel like gets asked a fair amount, and especially by new runners, right? I don't know. It makes sense. That's one of the first questions. Is when is it the right time to step up to the next distance, right? And so, I've heard people say, well, I've done this race, but I've never done that race. Can I jump up to 100K? I've done a 50K, or I'm sorry, I've done like half marathons. I just really want to jump up to like this 100K and so that's the question. And when is it a good idea to jump to the next race, and what should you do before you make that jump to the first race or the next race up? So I'll ask you, what's your thoughts on it, Farley?
So I think I kind of did a logical progression when I first started in 2012, although maybe I jumped into my first 50 miler a little too quickly. So I did a trail half marathon when I first got back into running in 2010. And the furthest I ran before that in training was like 7 miles. So I was pretty much crushed after that. But it set the stage for the next year, which I did my first trail marathon up at Grand Island in 2011. And I was able to get good training for that. And then the next year, 2012, is when I ran my first 50K at Forget the PR, which I had hurt my back during the race, totally crushed, but still survived it. So I guess, and then I was like riding this high horse, like, yeah, I'm an ultra runner now. So of course I jumped into a 50 miler out in Colorado, coming from Michigan. I jumped
totally
into
makes sense.
Run Rabbit Run 50 later on that fall. I didn't have as good a training for that because I was still kind of recovering from Forget the PR. I suffered bad, and I got it done. Within the time limit, but it was tough. Like in hindsight, I probably should have just did the 50 miler the next year.
Yeah.
After. And now with the 100K, I don't really know if there's a reason to go from 50 mile to 100K in this natural progression, because it's only 12 more miles. It's going to be a few hours, right? But the point is the magnitude of the 62 miles to 100 is not that much greater than 50 miles to 100, right?
Yeah.
Like the 100 is a whole different ballpark. It's a whole different ball of wax, right? It's like nothing like a 50 or a 62 miler. It just has its own unique thing. So anyway, my thought is, my thought, whatever, is to just do the logical progression at what you feel, that you're capable of. But I would say give yourself enough time to experiment with nutrition, give yourself enough time to, experiment with long runs, back-to-back long runs, to see how you respond. And so I would say logically, I know people that have jumped right into 100 miler or crazy stuff like that, but yeah, I would say just you definitely have to train. You definitely have to research, and you definitely have to experiment. So I would say, yeah, start with the next level of what you haven't done, and just work from there. And once you get to the 100-mile race, then you really need to do some research, because that's when food plays a huge part in it and all that. So, but yeah, that's my thoughts. Logical progression, right? Half marathon, 50K, 50-mile, then 100K or 100-mile.
See, and I think this is what makes you and I so interesting. and just in our normal lives, right? Just you're logical. You're like, you have
right.
I will let everyone know my progression was I did a 50K. I did like a couple. I think I only did like 2 or 3 50Ks, and then I was like, I'm gonna jump right to a 100-miler, and try to run Mo 100. And so what's funny is I don't think I ran a 50-miler until years into it, and then even with that being said, I've only ran a 100K one time, and it's the one we did at Black Canyon.
Okay.
And so it is kind of funny, like, hey. I mean, I think like conventional wisdom would tell a person, like, hey, step this thing out, right? Do a 50K, do a 50-mile. I think conventional wisdom would dictate that that's what a rational person would do. Not that I'm irrational, but like, there's also this side of it that is like, you're ready when you're ready, right? And you're probably really never going to be ready. In a weird kind of way, it's like having a kid. You're never really going to be ready. And so if you have built yourself psychologically ready, go for it. What's worse going to happen? What's worse? You want DNF? Tough shit.
Yep.
Yeah, it's going to happen more likely anyways.
And if you do DNF, it's likely going to be, you're going to learn some great lessons along the way.
You learned a lot of lessons more likely along the way.
It's like failing your driver's test on the first time, which I may or may not have done. And it's like, I DNF'd my first 100, and I learned that I need to not run in ultra superiors. I need more cushion than that, right?
Yeah.
I learned that you don't want chafing in certain parts of your body that you cannot come back from. So yeah, you do learn valuable lessons in each of your progressions, no matter how you do it.
Yeah.
Right? So, but yeah, no, and there's nothing wrong with jumping right into a 100-miler if you want, if you feel like you're ready for it. Like Johnny said, what's the worst that's going to happen? You're gonna learn some valuable lessons.
You're going to take some bumps and bruises. Yeah. So, anyways, that's my opinion. Like that's our thoughts on it. It depends on you. It depends on your personality, right? And just have fun. So,
yeah, it's not one size fits all. But you'll definitely regret it for a minute each time you do go up a race distance.
Yeah.
Like, what the hell am I doing? But
why did I do this? I could have been done. I don't know how. Like, that's the other funny part. Whenever you cross like a distance, you're like, damn, I just crossed it. I could be done right now if I was only doing a 50-miler. Every time you go by a certain.
Yep. Totally.
All right,
cool. Well, good to see everybody again. It's 2025. We're gonna have some more fun this year, and just drop us a line if you want to comment on anything we talked about, and or maybe share some of your tips, tricks, and thoughts on the 3 T's that we discussed today about when to step up to the next distance.
How and when did you step up? Yeah, for sure. I'm sure there's some young runners out there who'd love to hear about it. So
yeah. All right.
Cool,
all man. Right. Well, we'll see everybody on the next one.
See you.